What do you do when life gets tough? When it takes all of your strength just to survive? Because we've all had days when it felt like we got up and got punched in the face. And then we got up and got punched again. During the worst times, that's what that day, that week, that year will feel like. Repeating that day, every day, for who knows how long. If your experience was like mine, it was rough. But what if I told you the secret to winning at life comes from those who take punches for a living? There are people who do this professionally. They take body blows for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Boxers and MMA fighters get in the ring and roll with the punches in order to compete and to win. In this video, we'll give you 5 principles based on Stoic wisdom and their example that you can use to get up and fight back after you've been knocked down. Because you can win in this life. All you need is a plan, the right preparation, and the will to win. But you've got to be real about your situation and the circumstances of your life. As Mike Tyson once said, everyone has a plan until they get punched in the mouth. Tyson was talking about a fundamental truth that the ancient Stoics understood well. Life is going to throw unexpected challenges our way regardless of how carefully we plan. Principle number 1. Expect the unexpected. The first principle in fighting back is to embrace this as an essential part of the human experience. The Stoics called this premeditatio malorum, the premeditation of evils. By mentally rehearsing setbacks before they occur, we build the armor that protects us when adversity strikes. This isn't pessimism, it's preparation to keep us grounded in reality. Being adaptable means loosening our grip on expectations. When we cling too tightly to a desired outcome, we set ourselves up for devastation when things go sideways. We should be more like a boxer who adjusts their stance in the face of their opponent's jabs. With mental flexibility, we can pivot quickly when circumstances change. The unexpected punch is rarely about you personally. The Stoics emphasize this distinction between events and our judgments about them. A flight cancellation, a rejection letter, or a sudden illness aren't personal attacks. They're simply events that require us to adjust. By separating the circumstance from our interpretation of it, we create space for clearer thinking and better responses. True mental preparation isn't about controlling external events. That's too much to ask. It's about controlling our response to them. Just as fighters train not only their bodies but also their minds to stay calm under pressure, we have to practice staying cool when our plans collapse. This stability becomes an asset when life surprises us, and real life always will. So get out there. Know that the punches are coming, and some of them are going to land. You're not alone. We all have to deal with this. But know also that mentally, you'll be ready for them. You are strong, you are capable, and you can do this. Carry that thought in your heart. Principle number 2. Strengthen your resilience. To be ready to take those hits, you have to strengthen your mental resilience. Like a boxer who trains daily to take hits, you must build your mental toughness one day at a time. A boxer doesn't become able to absorb punches overnight. It takes daily training with increasing intensity. You have to get in the ring and train. Run, move, exert yourself. That's how a boxer does it. You have to do the equivalent in your life. Resilience comes from intentional practice. Start with little inconveniences, a delayed train, a spilled coffee, a technology failure. Use these small setbacks as opportunities to practice equanimity rather than blowing up with frustration. Each controlled response strengthens your resilience muscle. The Stoics advocated for voluntary discomfort. This means deliberately placing yourself in uncomfortable situations to build your tolerance for difficulty. Cold showers, fasting, sleeping on a hard floor. These practices weren't meant as punishment, but as training. By choosing discomfort in controlled doses, you expand your capacity to handle the discomforts life gives you. And you can be sure that, since this is real life, they are coming. Mental resilience also requires keeping perspective. As Epictetus taught, it's not what happens to you, but how you respond to it that matters. A resilient mind recognizes that pain is inevitable, but suffering is optional. The pain of a setback is real, but the narrative we construct around it, that it's unbearable, unfair, or permanent, creates additional suffering. We can control that part. We can make that part go away, because that's in our mind, and we can learn to control our mind. Your resilience isn't measured by avoiding problems, but by your capacity to deal with them. If you start watching your mind, you'll become better at this through practice. What once seemed overwhelming eventually becomes manageable. Then it becomes easy. Then you win. But before you get to that point, you must play your cards right. Remember that recovery is as important as exertion. That may mean stepping back or even away from the action for a minute. This balance between pushing forward and knowing when to rest leads us to our third principle. Principle number 3. Master strategic retreat. In the arena of life, knowing when to advance is only half the battle. You also have to know when to step back. This doesn't mean surrender. This means you have to strategize. Consider a seasoned boxer facing a stronger opponent. When caught in a barrage of punches, they don't just stand their ground. Instead, they slip, duck, clinch, or back up to create distance. They try to conserve energy while their opponent tires themselves out. The experienced fighter knows that survival in this round creates opportunity in later ones. As Seneca noted, the greatest remedy for anger is delay. If you are facing the angry attack of the world, you can withdraw, even if only for a moment. This wisdom applies beyond the ring. If you're in the process of being overwhelmed, a strategic retreat allows you to preserve your resources. Every confrontation drains your mental, emotional, and physical reserves. Sometimes, the wisest move is to disengage, allowing yourself to regroup rather than depleting yourself completely. Gain perspective. In the heat of conflict, our vision narrows. Stepping back creates space to see the bigger picture, identify patterns, and develop counter strategies. Choose better battles. Not every hill is worth dying on. A strategic retreat lets you select where and when to make your stand based on your strengths, not your opponents. As Marcus Aurelius reminded us, you have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. This principle appears throughout history and nature. Military generals from Sun Tzu to Eisenhower emphasize the value of strategic withdrawal. The mighty oak that refuses to bend will break in the storm. The flexible reed will survive. Epictetus taught us, make the best use of what is in your power and take the rest as it happens. Master the art of strategic withdrawal in your own life. Sometimes you must absorb the punches. Other times you must sidestep them. And occasionally you must back away entirely, not as defeat, but as a precursor to victory. The strongest person isn't the one who never retreats. It's the winner of the battle, the sum of all the advances and retreats. If you have to retreat to fight another day, it's worth it. So consider doing that if it would help you with where you are in life right now. Principle number 4. Find power in perspective. Sometimes, though, you can't retreat. Sometimes you have to take a loss. And for that, we have our fourth principle, the power of perspective. When life throws you to the ground, remember this. What appears as an obstacle may be an opportunity. Imagine standing at the edge of a challenge, heart pounding. Most see only the shadow of it, the dark side of it. But the warrior sees things differently. They see the training ground where greatness is born. They understand that the universe hasn't conspired against them. It has conspired to strengthen them. This is something more than optimism. It's strategic vision. The fighter who views a stronger opponent not as unfair punishment, but as a teacher has a psychological edge on their competition. While others ask, why me? The Stoic warrior asks, what am I meant to learn here? Marcus Aurelius, emperor and Stoic philosopher, wrote, the impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way. The obstacle itself contains the solution, the resistance that builds your strength. Consider, the diamond formed only through crushing pressure, the sword tempered only through fire, the champion created only through the struggle with those they have defeated. Nothing exceptional emerges from comfort. Ask yourself, how comfortable are you right now? When you shift your perspective, everything changes. The promotion you lost becomes the redirection you needed. The relationship that ended becomes the lesson that prepared you. The failure that humbled you becomes the wisdom that elevated you. When you see your obstacles as training that makes you stronger, you become more powerful. And through that power, you can rise above. Principle number 5. Develop unbreakable will. But perspective alone isn't enough. The path forward demands more than understanding. It requires action. It requires resolve. Which brings us to our 5th and final principle. To transform perspective into victory, you must develop an unbreakable will. The true measure of a fighter is found in the number of times they've risen from the ground with determination dancing in their eyes. It's not about never falling. It's about refusing to stay down. Think of the boxing legends who took devastating blows and then rose from the mat. They weren't superhuman. They possessed something more valuable than a title. They had an unbreakable will. This is the mentality that separates champions from contenders. The Stoics understood this. As Epictetus, a slave before becoming a philosopher, taught, it's not what happens to you, but how you respond that matters. Your circumstances may be beyond your control, but your response to them is entirely in your hands. This is where your power lies. When life delivers that unexpected uppercut, remember, you don't need to control everything to win. You only need to control what's within your grasp. Your thoughts, your actions, your will. Like a fighter who focuses not on the crowd or on the judges, but solely on the opponent before them. Direct your energy to the places where it can make a difference. An unbreakable will is very different from mere optimism. It combines clear-eyed acceptance of reality with relentless forward motion. It's the quiet voice that says, "Not today," when defeat seems certain. It's the resolve that turns impossible into done. Each time you rise after being knocked down, you strengthen your will. Each obstacle you face down builds your mental fortitude. You become a seasoned fighter whose body bears the scars of battle, but whose spirit remains unbowed. Remember, in life's toughest fights, victories don't always come from the hardest punches. They go to the person who lasts the longest, who refuses to lose or to submit. Develop an unbreakable will, and no challenge will ever defeat you. Conclusion. In the arena of life, we all face moments that test our resolve and challenge our spirit. Like fighters in the ring, we must learn to absorb the blows, adapt to changing circumstances, and emerge stronger than before. The 5 Stoic principles we've explored offer a blueprint for not just surviving life's toughest battles, but for winning them. By embracing reality through premeditation of difficulties, we prepare our minds for the inevitable challenges ahead. Through deliberate practice and voluntary discomfort, we build the resilience needed to withstand life's hardest hits. The wisdom of strategic retreat reminds us that sometimes victory comes not from standing our ground, but from knowing when to step back. When we master the power of perspective, we transform obstacles into opportunities. Finally, an unbreakable will transforms understanding into action. Life will continue to throw its punches. That's the nature of existence. But armed with these Stoic principles, you can do more than merely survive. You can thrive. You can transform each setback into a comeback. You can turn each obstacle into an opportunity. The true victory in life doesn't go to those who never face difficulty, but to those who face it with courage, wisdom, and an unyielding spirit. Now step into the ring of life with confidence. Take the hits and win. Ending notes. In upcoming videos, we'll dive deeper into specific techniques for applying these principles to different areas of your life. Most importantly, we'll show you how to adapt these strategies to your unique challenges. Whether you're dealing with workplace stress, personal setbacks, or simply the daily grind that slowly wears you down, We encourage you to customize these Stoic principles for your situation. Finally, don't forget to subscribe and hit that notification bell for more videos about turning life's challenges into fuel for growth. Until next time, remember that Stoicism isn't just about enduring hardship, it's about thriving because of it. Every challenge contains within it the seeds of future victory. Your opportunity to seize it starts now.